Hi everyone, we will be using different cosmetics or chemicals in day-to-day life. So here the cosmetic includes the powders, sprays, anti-aging creams, lotions, etc. So do you know how these agents are work? If you go to barber shop, normally after shaving he applies some of the stone like thing on your face. What basically it is and what is the importance of this? So you know the bleaching powder, right? So bleaching powder, how basically it's going to be work. So to know all this, today we are going to cover the topic called as topical agents. So topical agents are the agents which are applied on the skin and mucous membrane. Basically mucous membrane in the sense it includes the nostril, ophthalmic, ear, oral, as well as rectal, vaginal, all this. So here the topical agents can be broadly categorized based on mechanism of action. It can be protectives, astringents and antimicrobial agents. Protectives. So protectives, these are the agents basically give the protection to the skin. It is examples talc, titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, calamine. Talc chemically it is called as hydrous silicated mineral compound of the magnesium. So this is the structure of the talc. Coming to calamine, it is a combination of ferric oxide and zinc oxide. So titanium dioxides. So here these can be formed powders, lotions, creams, sprays, paste, ointment based on our requirement. So here these form very tiny powder particles which will cover large area. So surface area is going to be increased. So here normally these agents can adsorb on the skin or mucous membrane. Adsorption is nothing but binding. These agents can bind and form a thin layer which will give protection. Say for example sun lotion or sun cream will use. So these agents will form a thin layer on the skin which will not allow sun rays to damage your skin. Sunscreening lotions will call it as. So here so it can be form a thin coat on the site of application and is going to be adsorbed on the skin and mucous membrane. So here the main property of these agents are these are chemically inert and biologically inert. So these are insoluble in nature so that it can form a thin layer. The important point of this is, so since these are very microparticles, so it can offer the high surface area and it can absorb the moisture at that particular site. So that results, so here it can absorb the moisture, so resulting you can decrease the bacterial growth. So that is the reason, that is maybe one of the reason that when we are kid, so some injury just we are going to cover with the talcum powder to hide from our mothers and all. Okay, so here the logic of this is going to be whatever the moisture is there is going to be absorbed by these particles. So here there is no moisture is available for the bacteria to grow at that particular site. So obviously it is going to be dried up and is going to be healed and increase the healing process. Right. Next we will discuss about this astringents. So these are the agents which will act by the precipitating of the protein. Plasma proteins are going to be get precipitated by these agents. Example zinc sulfate and potassium alum. Potash alum or zinc sulfate. So here normally we'll say this anti-aging creams. These are the creams which will inhibit, like it will not show the wrinkles on your skin. Okay, so here the basic mechanism of action of these drugs is going to be form precipitation and is going to be constrict the muscle. So when this muscle is get constricted, so there won't be any wrinkles can be seen. So that is the basic logic. Maybe this is temporary treatment. So here, so that is the basic logic of using the anti-aging cream. So here mechanism of action by the protein precipitation, it constrict the tissue, contract the tissue and its constriction of the blood vessels and reduce the pain and sweating. So since these are the astringents, so here normally in barber shop we will apply that particular stone, right, is nothing but potash alum. Potash alum, this is the formula. Okay, so here this potash alum has the ability of the constriction of the contraction of the tissue and constriction of the blood vessels. When accidentally if there is a cut, okay, normally they will apply this. So, that causes the constriction of the blood vessels at that particular area and reduce the bleeding. So, that is the basic logic, and it will reduce the pain. Oh, again, so these agents can used to decrease the perspiration. Okay, so here normally body odor, bad odor is just because of the sweating. In the presence of sweating and moisture, so there will be growth of this bacteria. So, because of the bacterial growth, so we will feel smell, sweating. Okay, so here bad odor, we will call it as a bad odor. So, this can be decreased by using again zinc sulphate and potassium. So, normally, so as we discussed this, these are going to be constrict the tissue. When the tissue is constricted, the pores present in our body, okay, is also get constricted, that inhibit releasing of the sweat. So, obviously, when sweat is less, obviously bacterial growth is going to be less. So, resulting, so the individual will not feel smell. So, that is DO, we can use as a DO. Okay, so here this is how we are going to prepare the potassium. So, potassium sulphate and aluminum sulphate in the presence of water, we can prepare this potassium. So, normally these are present as a minerals like this natural source, we can get it. So, apart from this, we have the antimicrobial agents, one of the major topical applicant. So, whatever if you apply iodine, if you apply any cream, so this iodine, hydrogen peroxide, potassium permanganate, chlorinated lime, boric acid are the example for the antimicrobial agents which will apply topically. So, before going to this, first we need to understand like what is the difference between the antiseptic and disinfectants. So, antiseptics are the agents which will inhibit the bacterial growth on tissue and living tissue. Okay. So, whereas disinfectants, so inanimate objects, maybe on table or chair or bed, okay, so any to kill the bacteria. So, here both are antiseptics and disinfectants kills the bacteria, but the thing is antiseptic specifically we will use for the living tissue, on the living tissue. Germicide, this is a broad word. So, here it includes bactericidal, fungicidal, virucidal agents. Okay. So, altogether we will call it as germicide. Sanitizer, this is means that cleaning of biological things, maybe saliva. Okay. So, here the mechanism of action of these agents basically by the oxidation, halogenation and protein precipitation. Oxidation. So, here chlorinated lime is nothing but the bleaching powder, CaOCl3. So, this is the formula. So, chlorinated lime is nothing but bleaching powder. So, here bleaching powder, iodine and hydrogen peroxide, potassium permanganate, these are the example for the antimicrobial agents. First we will see the agents which will work by the oxidation. So, oxidation, hydrogen peroxide and potassium permanganate work by this oxidation method. So, normally the free sulfhydryl group is essential for each amino acid. Okay. So, what happens here in the presence of oxygen, so there will be a taking of these hydrogen groups and form a double sulfide bond. So, which causes the conformational change in the protein. So, thereby functionality of the protein is going to be diminished. So, resulting of that the bacteria or fungi is going to be died. So, that is how this hydrogen peroxide and potassium permanganate is going to be used. So, potassium permanganate is one of the agent which will use to fumigate the laboratories. Okay, next we will go for the halogenation. This is one of the important method of antimicrobial agents. So here why? Because the municipal water what we will drink is purified by the chlorination process. So here normally, so this is the protein of the bacteria. So here instead of this NH group, the chlorine is going to be halogenated. So halogen group is added to this particular protein. So, resulting of there is a significant conformational change in the protein that causes the death of the bacteria. So, apart from that, the protein precipitation. So, here even astringents can act as a mild antibacterials because it reacts with the metals and it will precipitate. Example, potash alum and zinc sulfate. Okay, so these are the agents which can use topically as a cosmetics and as a therapeutical agents. So here we can add the iodine. Iodine also, it's by doing this halogenation. This iodine can be present in two forms, aqueous and tincture form. Tincture form in the sense it is soluble in alcohol, so it is called as tincture, or less concentration it can be soluble in even aqueous. Okay, in both cases it will show the antimicrobial property. Hope this video is useful. Thank you.